All right, we are on week 6 already of our class. We're getting to the end already, going pretty fast. And one of the things that you're going to be looking at, you have a very, very short clip of Matt Miller, and he talks about his Ditch the Textbook. Very short clip on him. And if you were fortunate to go to Q this year, you got to hear him speak, and he was a dynamic speaker. He's got a blog. He's on Twitter a lot at the time. He's got a Facebook page. He's got a website that you can go and check out, and I really do recommend him because he not only was a great speaker, but he has some great ideas. And he talks about how he was very much tied to his textbook and how he felt like that was really stifling him. And when he finally decided to throw it away and create experiences for his kids, how much more invigorated he felt in his classroom, how much more they enjoyed it rather than him just talking at them, and how much more fun he was having in class. So he has some great ideas. We're going to talk about a few of them. The downside of it is it's a little bit messy, and you feel like you might have a lack of control, and it may not work the first time or the second time, and you have to kind of let that go and then use that data to say, okay, what didn't go right, and what do I need to fix, and what maybe could I tweak on this lesson, but not always beat yourself up and go back to that safety of that book, which is boring and doesn't stick with kids anyway, because what you want them to do is to remember and to take that learning and to create their own learning and use it in the rest of their life. They're not going to remember reading a textbook and copying down answers and taking notes. That's not going to help them in life. So when those things don't always work, you don't want to beat yourself up, but don't go back to just doing the same old thing all the time. The upside is it's creative, and it's a lot more fun to design your own curriculum, even though it takes a lot of work. It's memorable for both you and your kids, and it's a way more fun classroom when you have things that kids are putting their hands on and doing, and that you're creating something new for them to do. So here's some ideas that came from his book. He talks about, instead of doing a character analysis on paper of, writing an essay, he talked about doing a tweet. If you were someone in history or from a story, what would you have tweeted about an event in the story? There's also creating a fake Facebook page. What would that person, let's say you have a person in history, what would they put on their Facebook page, and who would their friends be, and what would they post? I have a template for you that I'll post on under my instructor area. You don't have to use it, but it's just a really fun little thing to have kind of in your bag of tricks when you want to use it, and kids really love it. Another thing he talks about is taking notes, and this is one of my pet peeves when I go in classrooms, and I'll talk about it in a little bit. I see kids taking notes all the time and then not really doing anything with them. But he talks about maybe doing visual notes. This app that he's talking about, Paper, is an app for Apple, which I don't use Apple, but maybe some of you do. It's very, very creative, very a great app if you are using Apple. I like Google Draw or Google Keep if you haven't tried that one. It's kind of like you post things up, and it's really, I think, a nifty way to keep notes on something. And my daughter, who's a college student, likes to take her notes and turn them into flashcards. She's into that. And so she uses Study Blue, which is a nice way for kids to just take their flashcards with them when they're getting ready for a test. Take a right on your phone if you want to. He'll talk about trying something completely different. So an emoji poem or emoji response. So instead of always having them write out a long thing, and we do want them to write because writing is a skill we want them to have, but sometimes just to do something fun, try turning it into emojis. He also talks about Flipgrid, and this is a nice little, there is a free version, but there's also a paid version of this app. And it just will do a quick video of each kid, and it will kind of put it on a grid so you can see it, and kids can respond to each other when you wanted to have them respond to a question or respond to something you've posted. They can all respond, so they all have a voice, and then they can respond to each other, which is a really nice way to get everybody to participate and be engaged. You can also have your kids do vlogs, which are video writings or videos instead of a blog. Blog is writing, a vlog is a video. Instead of a class presentation where everybody's getting up and doing their PowerPoint and no one's paying attention and half class is asleep, get them to post that, and then they can respond to each other using a rubric that the class has designed and give each other feedback. So a little bit more engaging and interactive. So what I would really like you to do is when you're thinking about doing a worksheet, stop that. Stop doing a worksheet. I'm so sick of going in classrooms and seeing that. You can do short responses in multiple formats. It could be a Kahoot. It could be a short constructed response. I'm in for kids writing. I would rather see them write a paragraph than work than do a worksheet. I know worksheets are very easy to grade. They're also, you're just collecting, just words back from somebody. It's not really anything that you're getting. So doing those end of the chapter questions, do a performance task, or have them design a test, or have them come up with what are the important parts of this chapter or the learning that has to come out of this. But those end of the chapter questions are not doing anybody any good. I don't know how many avid classrooms I've gone into with a principal and the kids are taking notes. I'm like, okay, what are they doing with the notes? Well, they're taking notes. Okay, that's great. What do they do with the notes? Well, then we go back and we highlight the notes. Okay, then what do we do with the notes? We put them in a binder. Okay, then what do we do with the notes? Nothing. We're not doing anything with those notes. Why are you taking all those notes if you're not going to use them for anything? If you're not going to use them to create an essay or something that you're creating? So they've got to be producing something for an audience, either writing, speaking, a video. Those notes, without any purpose, are a waste of everybody's time. So I know that Avid's big on notes, but I know that they're not for no purpose. So do something with them. Math skills, math worksheets, math skills, math problems that never go into problem solving. The Common Core is basically problem solving. If you don't know about cognitively guided instruction, it's a program through UCLA. It's fantastic, but it's about having kids talk through how to solve a problem. Great program, but stop just doing the skills in math, start getting them to do the problem solving. And then having that common project at the end of whatever you're doing, individualize that and give them some choice in what they're doing. So that elephant in the room of why people don't change their practice is really that fear of losing control. People like to have control in their classroom, and I get it because I like my classroom to be in control too. And studies have found that the more times that you have diverse learners in your room, the more times that you have minority children in your room, or the more times that you have children of poverty in your room, you will do less project-based learning, you will do less exploratory learning, and it has to do with the teacher's fear of losing control. I'm not sure exactly why that is, but there's some underlying issues there that we got to kind of face up to. We don't want to, a lot of times, look like we don't have all the answers. And we have to get over that because we don't have all the answers to everything. The world is changing too fast to think that we're always going to be the ones who know everything. We can be, sometimes teachers are afraid of administration and parents. When the kid comes home and says, my teacher didn't know the answer. And the parent says, well, the teacher doesn't know what they're doing. I would tell parents if they came in, I didn't know, and we looked it up together. And I think that's a valuable thing to admit to people. And if the administration is one of those administrators who doesn't understand that, then it's time to move schools, because if they think you're supposed to know the answer to everything, they're not reasonable. And I think a lot of it is a lack of confidence in your own ability. People that are afraid of losing control also have that closed mindset that they can't learn. If you know that you're a lifelong learner and you're going to try new things and you may not learn it the first time and you're going to keep trying, you are confident that you can keep learning. Those people that are afraid of losing control, I think sometimes have that closed mindset that if I don't know the first time, I'm going to look dumb, and I don't want to look dumb in front of people, and therefore I'm not ever going to try anything new. So confront those things, if those are things that you're dealing with, and just really move yourself forward and know you're never going to be able to keep up, because Moore's Law, Gordon Moore was a guy that developed the Intel chip. He was one of the guys that worked on that in the 1960s. And he made the prediction that technology capability would double every 2 years. And he was right for a while, until it happened that it was every 6 months. And then it was every 3 months. You're never going to be able to keep up with technology and how fast it's going. And here's like a little definition of, if that same technology was applied to a car, these are the advances that would happen. You'd have a Volkswagen that could go 300,000 miles per hour, and you'd only have this much gas in it, and it would go for 4 cents. I mean, that's how much your car technology would have changed if it had kept up with computer technology. So there's the the Scientific American article, and you can Google Moore's Law and look at it, but it's just about how rapidly technology has been changing. So don't think you're going to keep up, because you're not, but we all can learn together and rely on each other to know part of what's going on. So looking ahead, this week you're doing a collaborative exercise. You're going to pick a group to work with. Don't freak out about this. Let's say if you've worked with somebody one time and now you're trying to find a group, and maybe you've got one other person that you've worked with again and then one other new person. That's okay. Just try not to work with the same person every single time. But you're forming your own group, so make sure that you're kind of mixing it up a little bit. And that's, you're going to use the ISTE standards, and you're going to make up some Google slides that are the different kinds of assessment based on the ISTE standards. So I think it's 7 slides altogether. It's not too hard of a project. And then your big project, your culminating project. So I would put my group together actually pretty soon. In fact, week 6, I would put my group together. Groups of 3. You're going to use the resources that are provided, and you're going to be doing, like if you were in LA Unified and they wanted to do that iPad reboot, not the one they did before that was in the news all the time, but let's say they decided they were going to do it again, how would you do it, and how would you make sure that it was successful? So you're going to create a digital habitat, and then you're going to do a Google Slides presentation like to the board. All right, so those are the things that are coming up. Keep working in your discussion board, and give me a call or text me if you have any questions, and I'll try to respond right away. All right, have a great week.